Yo, what up guys, Slow Mo Backslap here, slapping you with another video. And first, before we get into the video, let me just do a heartfelt thank you to all of those who have subscribed to the channel in the past week. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the content, and that's not ignoring my long-term subscribers as well. You guys are awesome. You guys have been here through the long haul, so I appreciate you as well. And all that said, let's get into the video. So this video, of course, is about Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I know it's a little late. I mean, the State of Play that talked about this was like a few weeks ago. But I needed to kind of gather my thoughts on this because I'm kind of two minds when it comes to what I saw and how Square Enix is taking this Final Fantasy VII Remake project. So bear with me for a moment as we recap some of this information and then really get into the nitty-gritty. So what they showed us at the State of Play a few weeks ago is that Final Fantasy VII Remake is getting a free upgrade to the PlayStation 5. Now, if you have purchased the PlayStation 4 version, then you're going to get that free upgrade on June 10th when all of this stuff is coming out, and that's awesome. But Sony is also putting Final Fantasy VII Remake in PS Plus, and if you get that version, you will not get the free upgrade to the PlayStation 5. Now that angered a lot of people, and understandably so. You want to play the game, but then if you have a PlayStation 5 and you get this PlayStation Plus version, you're getting a version that doesn't take advantage of the hardware that you have available to you. I understand that. I also, and don't get upset with me here, but I do also understand Square Enix's side of things. We don't know in the back rooms, in the boardrooms, what Sony offered Square to get this done. Clearly, on Sony's side, they want to further seed the PlayStation community with this game before it goes multi-plat, because the timed exclusivity of this first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake will be up in April, which means that it's more than likely going to be announced for PC and potentially could be announced for Xbox. So clearly Sony wants this game out here in PS Plus so that anyone who has a PlayStation has zero reason in their mind to get it on PC or Xbox. That said, how much they pay Square Enix to get this done, we don't know. So if it was not to Square Enix's liking on the financial side of things, I understand them saying, well, if this is all you're going to offer us, then you can put the game in PS Plus, but that free upgrade is only going to be for those who actually spent money on the game. I get it. Do I agree with it? Not really, but I do understand. Now, personally, I'm definitely playing through this game again in June. I'm going to play through it again with all the visual upgrades that comes with the PlayStation 5 version, and I'm really excited to play INTEGRADE, which, if you aren't aware, Final Fantasy VII Remake INTEGRADE is an expansion from the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is not the second part of this game, but it is a small expansion that features Yuffie as the only playable character, Yuffie from the original Final Fantasy VII, as well as Sonnen, who is a partner with Yuffie. You cannot switch to Sonnen, but Sonnen can be directed in combat and combine attacks with Yuffie. All that stuff looks actually really awesome. Can't wait to get into that and see how all of that kind of works together in concert, because I can see that could be a way they can kind of grow and evolve the combat they've already started with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the combat's already pretty awesome. So yeah, I can't wait to play that. Now, the part of this that is also like the PlayStation Plus stuff making people upset is that INTEGRADE is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So if you bought the PlayStation 4 version and have been unable to secure a PlayStation 5 yet, you will not be able to play this expansion. And this is something that, although it does not affect me personally, I think is a big mistake on Square Enix's part. It's one thing to make a whole game exclusive to next gen. It's another thing to sell a game at the end of last generation and then have all expansions for that game be exclusive to next generation, especially at a time right now where people are really unable to secure a PlayStation 5. It's really difficult to get one. So imagine you really love the Final Fantasy VII Remake, played it on PlayStation 4, you got the platinum, you love this game, can't wait to play INTEGRADE, but you have been unable to secure a PlayStation 5. Well, you're just SOL. You don't have an option here. And I think that's a huge mistake on their part. Now, this is already a very polarizing game to begin with. I mean, it would have been the most polarizing game of last year if it wasn't for The Last of Us Part 2. That said, these recent decisions, and I'm not going to get into Final Fantasy First Soldier, a battle royale, like the hell is that? I'm not getting into Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. These are all one-off things that those really hardcore Final Fantasy fans will get into, but well, definitely Ever Crisis. The battle royale is definitely for the casual crowd, and it's a battle royale game. Like, I'm really not going to talk about that too much. Like, it is what it is. You know what those are. You're either into them or you aren't. I'm not. But I think Square Enix is taking a really big gamble with how they are handling this game going forward. And this is what I mean by that. Now, I didn't have a problem with them splitting this into parts. I wasn't a fan of it initially, but seeing the high amount of quality that the first part was with all of the content they put into it, it's literally not just the 5 to 6 hours that it took you to get out of Midgard in the original game. There's so much more content here. Some of it's a bit of a padding here and there with some fetch quests that aren't that great. I get that, I understand that, but the character development, the way they fleshed out some of these other characters in Avalanche, Jesse, Biggs, Wedge, all that stuff wasn't present in the original game. You're getting so much more content, as well as the changes that they've made that I think were very, very well done. And for those who haven't played the game, you don't really understand how well done this stuff was. I think you should try it out, find out for yourself before you get so bent out of shape about it. Regardless of that, I thought it was all well done. Regardless of that, there are people who don't care and they didn't like it and they are refusing to play the game. And so even though the game did very, very well sales wise, it could have did better if they didn't anger this crowd. I can see the discontent with Final Fantasy VII Remake growing as you didn't allow the PS Plus version to get the free upgrade, as you locked INTEGRADE to next generation. You're not giving people reasons to try the game out and to give it a fair shake that I think that the content deserves. But also, let's keep it a buck here. Square Enix has not been consistent with quality on Final Fantasy the series since Final Fantasy IX. When you split this game up into multiple parts the way they have, you need to make sure that the quality of all of these parts reaches the same level of quality as the first part in order to not have people completely checking out on this project. They need to make sure that the second part is just as good as the first part. But even more than that, it's a gamble every time they come out with another part, because what if the second part's worse than the first part? They're gonna be all the naysayers saying, see, why did you do this? You should have just made it all together. Why did you try to price gouge us, as they say, with all these full-priced additional parts, and then the additional parts aren't as good as the first part? I can see that being the narrative. I can see the discontent with the way Square Enix has handled all this growing if the level of quality of these games takes a dip. And so this is a gamble for them, because they're gambling on themselves mostly, that they can maybe be able to kick out the same high level of content that they did initially, while also defending their decision making on the financial management side of things. I don't think they're doing themselves any favors, clearly. And with that said, I'm hoping that this second part is the last part. Now, I know some of you may be like, yo, the slow-mo, that's not happening. Clearly, this is going to be 3 or 4 parts. They haven't said how many parts this is going to be. I think the fact that they haven't said how many parts this is going to be means that second part won't be the last part, but I think they need to make it the last part. And if that means they have to delay the game from next year into 2023 or whatever, do so, because you need to make sure that this next part is just as good or better than the first part and end it. Because if you don't, the longer you draw it out, the higher your chances become of failing to live up to expectations. You want the high that you started out with to be the high that it ends on. So don't take the risk of rolling that dice on a third part and a fourth part. Make the last part your second part and deliver an experience that your fan base can be proud of. Now, that's my thoughts here. What do you guys think? I know some of you are just like, I hate it. I hate the entire idea because I never wanted them to do additional parts. I get that. But we've already crossed that bridge. What do you think about it ending on a second part? Or do you think there's nothing wrong with them gambling by making all these additional parts in light of everything that's been going on with the reaction to some of the decisions that they've made? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, dislike button. Hit it. It's all good. If you like my content, hit the subscribe button. I like to drop content like this all the time. So you guys have a great day. Peace.